Thank you. The shock of this trade is going to loom for a while. It's something we maybe saw coming, but not necessarily with 2 seasons remaining on Russell Wilson's contract. It can't become official until next Wednesday when the new league year starts. But Curtis, when we take a look at this deal, what Seattle is getting for a Super Bowl winning quarterback, 2 first-rounders, which this year is a number 9 overall pick for Denver. You see the other parts of the trade along with quarterback Drew Lock. Is this a good deal for what Wilson brings to a team?
It's a pretty sizable haul the Seahawks are getting back. You could make the argument maybe it's slightly on the light side, but the flip side of that is Russell Wilson had a no-trade clause in his contract. So at the end of the day, the New York Giants could have offered him 15 first-round picks. If he says I'm not going there, the trade's not happening. So it probably lowered the overall value that Seattle got in return slightly. But at the end of the day, they're getting 3 players that are all pretty solid options. Drew Lock, he can be a little bit more questionable about given his track record, but it's a quarterback back in return that does have some starting experience, was highly thought of coming out of college. And it gives them somebody to take a look at, somebody new to come in and compete at that position a little bit with Jacob Eason, who's the only other quarterback on the roster right now, following the Wilson trade once it gets officially done. So they get a decent haul of picks back. It gives them a first-round pick that they did not have, given the Jamal Adams trade from 2 years ago was still there. So pretty sizable haul to have that many players come back, that many draft picks come back in return. You might have wanted one more first-round pick, but it's still a pretty good group of stuff.
I think John Schneider is really excited to have draft picks to work with because they haven't had many in the past. When we look at some of the philosophical differences that we've talked about for so long, they say media has overblown this, but you have a specific example of when we see a difference between Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll and what they want offensively.
I think if you look back to the Chicago game last year, it was kind of a microcosm of what bad Russell Wilson is every time when he has these stretches where 3rd down, 4 yards, I think, from the Chicago 8 minutes to go in the game. They're up 7. A field goal there gives them a two-score lead down the stretch. Russell Wilson takes a bad 13-yard sack. They miss the ensuing field goal, which Jason Myers should have made anyway. It was only 39 yards. But afterwards, Pete Carroll's like, we have to make the right decision there. We have to sail that ball into the stands, take the field goal as we had it. And Russell was like, well, I was looking to make a play there. That was a situation where I felt we needed to go for it. And was like, okay, these guys are not seeing that situation from the same lens. And I think that's, it's one play. Don't make too much of the one play, but I think it kind of speaks to the larger issue of some of the little bit of friction that you had between Russell Wilson and what he wanted for himself and the way Pete Carroll wanted to run his football team and how he feels football's best played. And I think that's where a little bit of the friction came from that you saw last year when Russell was kind of, angling behind the scenes to maybe force some things in a certain direction.
$11 million in cap space to work with next season. It should be exciting. We have a lot more coming up at 5 and 6 on Fox 13 News. Back to you guys.
Great.